go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Rampage or Ramthrough. Jim Ross, here with Tony Schiavone and with Elijah Burke. And today on Rampage or Ramthrough, we're going to see Bianca Belair, take on King Valkyrie, which was filling in for Autolycus yesterday on Friday Night SmackDown, like Jim Ross said. That's right, Tony Schiavone said. We're going to see that match between King Valkyrie and, Bianca Belair, which we did happen to see before. Only this time, hopefully King Valkyrie ends up has a longer match with Bianca Belair. Tony Schiavone says. Well, I can tell you one thing, Elijah Burke says. Bianca Belair wants to get even with Asuka. She wants to become the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter for the 20th time. Only there are some binds to that happening, Elijah Burke says. One, Bianca Belair isn't ready for Asuka. That's the first bind. And bind two, she's not the only woman wrestler or woman fighter who feels that she should go for the TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings or the Women's World Heavyweight winnings. Elijah Burke goes. Well, first we get us. We're going to go to the ring now. Alright. Now we got King Valkyrie coming to the ring now. She really can't fit very well. Alright, Bianca Belair. I understand you're irked over losing the TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings to Asuka, the Kaiser, in tomorrow. But that was no right for you to shame me like you did. We had our match, right? And then you said, and you told me, not to work. You told me, that you didn't mean to shame me at all. You told me, shit. You told me, not to worry. It was nothing on. You just wanted to show how you were skilled, to beat others. Well, even if you didn't want me to slight me, sadly, it happened. I got slighted. So the way I look at it is that now you and me are gonna have a bind. Forget about your bind with Asuka. You gotta worry about your bind with me. Well, it is true that Bianca Belair did have, it is true that Bianca Belair did say when she had her fast match or, quick match, with King Valkyrie, that it was nothing owned. She just wanted to show how good skilled wrestler that she was. Jim Ross says, but sadly, at the end of the day, I don't think that was the way that King Valkyrie took it. No, I don't think King Valkyrie took it that way at all, Tony Schiavone said. She took it as a slight of what happened to her the first time that King Valkyrie and Bianca Belair fought. Slight whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, Bianca Belair, is making foes, even if she doesn't want to make foes. Sadly, she's making foes, Elijah Burke says. Alright. I told you before when we fought King Valkyrie, if that's even your true name, I told you that it wasn't meant to be a slight. It wasn't meant to be, any of that. That I just wanted to show you what a good skilled wrestler I was, or a good skilled fighter I was, or an overstar, whatever you want to call it. And you took it the way that I didn't mean for it to be taken. And yes, I do have a bind with Asuka. That's true. Asuka started with me, but 2 months ago, Asuka started this with me about 2 months ago, when she took my TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings away from me. And I don't mean to have a bind with you. Well, if that's what you think, well, today I'm going to show everyone how I should not have to have lost in a quick match or a quick fight or whatever you want to call it. So why don't you get out here now? We can get the Fight Lord in the ring, the one that's been here since 2002 YL and keeps falling down, or we can get the one we had since 98 YL that falls down as much too. Well, it looks like they got that Fight Lord, the one that likes to fall down all the time. Ding ding ding. Well, looks like the match is going to get started. And King Valkyrie just body slammed Bianca Belair, Jim Ross says. Yes, Tony Schiavone says, the former Women's World Heavyweight Fighter and former WWE Women's Heavyweight Fighter. It's taken down right now by King Valkyrie, Tony Schiavone said. Well, Jim Ross said Bianca Belair has done a lot of stuff, both in WWE and in the TWF. This is her 20th doll, and a little more greater than the first one we got. Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about any necklaces and stuff coming off of her, Elijah Burke says. You just got to worry about King Valkyrie and the sword she has. How that can be lawful. Do the swords come out of her hand or not? Elijah Burke says, I don't care. All she is a former 2-time TWF 24/7 fighter. Elijah Burke says, there ain't no way Bianca Belair's going to beat her. Bianca Belair's got her. And down. King Valkyrie is out. Bianca Belair is going to get the win here, Jim Ross says. Yes, Tony Schiavone said Bianca Belair is going to beat King Valkyrie again. It should be Queen Valkyrie or Kaiserin Valkyrie. I don't know why. That's what it should be. Elijah Burke says, I don't think Bianca Belair can beat Grenhilda, if that's her name or not. 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Here is your winner, Bianca Belair. Well, Bianca Belair, who this one came from Aldi's, which King Valkyrie came from Aldi's too, and at least Aldi's would sell Bianca Belair lesser from what Big Lots would sell her for, Jim Ross says. Well, now Bianca Belair is back in the ring now, and she can't really stand up. She's got that bind going that every doll and a TWF has went through since between 93 YL, Jim Ross says. Yeah, that's right, Tony Schiavone says she hasn't left the wrestling ring at all, Jim Ross. I think she's going to call Asuka the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter and a Kaiser in them tomorrow. Well, that's going to be her burial if she does, Elijah Burke says. She's just asking for herself to get, beaten, buried, besmirched, whatever you want to call it, Elijah Burke says. Alright, Asuka. I know you seem to think you're so great and everything. And I'm not going to take away how you are not going to take away how you're a four-time TWF Women's Heavyweight fighter. I'm not going to go take away how you're a former TWF Heavyweight fighter. Or I'm not going to go and take away how you're a former two-time TWF 24/7 fighter. Or a four-time TWF Women's Tag Team fighter. I'm not going to take any of that away from you. Yes, I'm not going to take away how you were a former WWE NXT Women's Heavyweight fighter, three-time WWE Women's Heavyweight fighter, one-time Women's Heavyweight fighter, Gal in the Boundary winner, Kingly Thunder winner. But I am going to take away that me and you no longer have any on-look anymore after how you won those said winnings. You know what you did to me in WWE and what you did to me in the TWF was the same. So why don't you come out here now, Oscar? Yeah. And you can bring out what is the 2nd offshoot, or the 3rd offshoot of the WWE Women's Heavyweight winnings, between 98 while the 2010 offshoot of it. Oh, Bianca Belair, you need a stand to stand in the ring. Well, at least that's a Mattel stand. Anyway, you seem to think that I am flattened of you. But you talked about all the things I did in WWE, on NXT, on Raw, on SmackDown. And I can talk about all the things you did too. Oh yeah, Women's World Heavyweight fight. We didn't really do anything on NXT. Not when you were on Raw the first time. We went to SmackDown the first time. Yeah, you became the Women's World Heavyweight fighter. Lost that. Went to Raw for the 2nd time. Became WWE Women's Heavyweight fighter. Then he went to SmackDown for the 2nd time. Oh, and you lost it to me. Like you did in a TWF too. So, why would I have any on look for anything you did? Oh yeah, don't forget, you also were a Kingly Thunder winner too. Can't take that away from you as well. But the way that I look at it is, why should I be frightened of you? No, I stopped giving a shit what folks thought of me when in 2023 YL, my 2nd hill run. So the way I look at it, you should be thankful for what I did to you. I could have been a lot more worse to you. And I go to hold on to the TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings longer than I held on to the TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings the first time. Longer than I held the WWE NXT Women Heavyweight winnings, the WWE Women Heavyweight winnings the first 2 times, and the Raw Women's Heavyweight winnings the 1 time. And longer when I held to the WWE Women Tag Team winnings 3 times. At least I've won the heavyweight winnings once. The TWF 24/7 winnings 2 times, and at least I held the TWF Women's Heavyweight winnings about 4 times, and the TWF Women's Tag Team wins about 4 or 5 times. But at the end of the day, like I say, I've been telling folks this since 25th Between WoW and WWE, and I've been telling folks this since 26th Between WoW and TWF. No one worry for Asuka, haha. Well, it looks like Bianca Belair and her bind of Asuka, is still going on, and now we're going to have Jonathan Coachman is now going to be talking with Bianca Belair now. Alright, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone. I'm going to be talking with Bianca Belair here today on Rampage or Ramfru. It seems, Bianca Belair, that you have a bind of Asuka and you want to be the TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter. Yeah, I want to be a two-time TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter, just like I want to become a two-time WWE Women's Heavyweight Fighter. Let me tell you something. I once had on look for Asuka. Asuka was someone that I believed had on look for her fellow wrestler, for her fellow fighter, for her fellow overstar. But it seems that that is over. It seems that Asuka is back to being a heel again. Why? Who knows? I don't understand it. But I'm going to beat her. Then I will show her who the EST of the TWF is. The same I'm the EST of WWE. And sooner or later, I will be not only a two-time TWF Women's Heavyweight Fighter, but a two-time WWE Women's Heavyweight Fighter too, since that's the new names for the former Raw and SmackDown ones. Yes, that is true, Jonathan Coachman said. WWE did go back to the old names for the winnings again. And hopefully, Bianca Belair, are you going to be ready for Asuka to Kaiser up tomorrow, since you were not ready for her ready for her? Yeah, I may not have been ready for her 2 months ago, but I'll be ready for her soon, Jonathan Coachman. And soon, I will teach Asuka a class of onlook. Well, that's my talk with Bianca Belair. Back to you, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Jonathan Coachman, for talking with Bianca Belair here today on Rampage or Ramfru. And that's all the time we got here for Rampage or Ramfru. I, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, and Elijah Burke. We hope you like Rampage or Ramfru, and we'll see you tomorrow for Collision or Hit.